Mara Hale hadn't meant to break down in the middle of a crowded sidewalk in downtown Portland, Oregon, but sometimes life didn't wait for the right time or place. One moment she was holding her daughter's small hand, trying to push through the day with whatever strength she had left, and the next, she felt her knees weaken under the invisible weight she'd been carrying for months. She could feel her breath catch in her throat, her vision blur slightly, and the cold edge of panic slide over her ribs as if reminding her she wasn't as strong as she pretended to be. People walked around her, glanced at her, and quickly looked away. No one stopped. No one asked, until he did. If you believe in kindness, grace, and second chances, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. Mara's life hadn't always been this heavy. A year earlier, she had felt grounded, settled into a modest but warm home in Oregon, raising a bright little girl named Anna and trying her best to rebuild after a difficult divorce. She had struggled before, but she had always found her footing eventually. This time, however, the earth beneath her felt unstable. Losing her job without warning, facing rising bills, and juggling the concerns of single motherhood had turned each morning into a battle. She woke up every day with the same silent question echoing in her mind. How much longer can I hold everything together? She had left the house that morning because she needed to clear her head, to walk and breathe and pretend she wasn't drowning. But halfway through the city block, her phone buzzed with another overdue notice, and something inside her cracked. She placed a trembling hand against her forehead, trying to hide her tears from Anna, who watched her with worried, curious eyes. People passed by, busy, distracted, wrapped in their own worlds. Mara didn't blame them. She had become used to blending into the background, to being unseen in her exhaustion. But then a gentle voice from behind them broke through the noise. He didn't ask what was wrong. He didn't pry. Instead, he simply stepped closer, careful but present, offering calm in a moment that felt anything but calm. His name was Lucas Ward, a local physical therapist heading to grab coffee before work. Mara didn't know him, but something about his presence made her feel as though she could finally take a breath. He crouched slightly so he wouldn't tower over Anna, placing a steady hand on the little girl's shoulder. Anna's stiff posture eased almost instantly, as if she sensed something her mother couldn't quite see yet. Lucas guided Mara and Anna toward the edge of the sidewalk, giving them space away from the flow of people. Mara felt embarrassed, apologizing softly as she tried to gather herself. But Lucas simply shook his head, telling her gently, not with words but through the warmth in his expression, that she didn't need to apologize for being human. Mara hadn't realized how starved she was for simple kindness until that moment. As they stood there, the city lights blurred behind them, and Mara forced herself to breathe deeply. She felt Anna squeeze her hand, grounding her. Lucas stayed close enough to reassure, but far enough to respect her space, offering a rare kind of compassion that didn't demand anything in return. Slowly, Mara found her voice again, shaky but present. She spoke about how overwhelmed she had been feeling, how she was trying her best but constantly falling short. She admitted she felt lost, not just physically on that sidewalk but inside her own life, unsure of the next step. Lucas listened fully, without interruptions or judgments, and that alone made her eyes burn with fresh tears. He didn't try to fix her problems. Instead, he encouraged her to take things one day at a time, reminding her that even the strongest people need help sometimes. He suggested resources in the city, places that could assist with job searches and childcare, things Mara hadn't even known existed. And most importantly, he reminded her gently that asking for help didn't mean she was failing. It meant she was still fighting. Something shifted inside Mara during that conversation. For the first time in weeks, she felt a spark of hope, a small light cutting through the fog she'd been trapped in. The idea that she wasn't alone, not in the way she feared, gave her enough strength to stand up straight again. She thanked Lucas deeply, her voice steadier now, and he simply smiled, telling her he was glad he'd been walking by at just the right moment. Before he left, he offered her his card. Not out of obligation, but because he genuinely cared. Mara accepted it, not knowing yet how much that card would eventually mean. In the following weeks, Mara followed through with the support Lucas had recommended. She found a community program that offered career counseling, and soon she landed a part-time position that slowly grew into something more stable. She wasn't magically healed. Life still had its difficult days. But the crushing weight she had been carrying no longer felt like it would break her. She had direction again, and a renewed sense of strength. Lucas checked in occasionally, just enough to be supportive without crossing boundaries. Their conversations grew warmer, filled with gentle humor and an understanding that didn't need many words. Anna grew fond of him too, always smiling when he visited. Bit by bit, Lucas became a steady presence in their lives, a reminder that sometimes the right people come along exactly when we need them most. By the time spring arrived, Mara found herself laughing more, breathing easier, and believing in her future again. She would often look back on that day on the sidewalk, the day she broke down in public and thought it was the worst moment of her life. But now she understood that it was actually the turning point, the moment someone finally cared enough to ask without asking, to guide without pushing, to see her when she felt invisible. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us reach others who may need a little light in their lives. Before you go, comment below. Have you ever been helped by a stranger at just the right time?